Hi everyone, welcome to the show. Today we are talking with Joy Holliff. She is the queen of HR, and if you have employees, you're going to want to watch this episode. We have so many key details that you need to know about, so stay tuned. Let's go. All right, so welcome to the show. Bear with us as we get all these cameras situated. But Joy, you are the queen of HR, as I mentioned, and you are actually the HR advisor for Small Business Development Center. Is that right?
Yes, exactly.
Excellent.
Very busy place right now.
No kidding. Well, I'm glad to have you back on the show. Our first video was fantastic, so I wanted to get you back on the show so you can really help all those business owners out there that are contending with the crazy time that we're in here with COVID-19 and all the laws and regulations and everything they're constantly changing by the day. So before we get into some of your tips that you have for the viewers at home, can you give them just a little bit of background as to all that you do?
Yes, I've been the HR advisor for the Santa Cruz SBDC for 18 years now. Can't believe it that long, but it's just been such a pleasure to work with all our small businesses and try to make sure that they're in compliance with so many of the different labor laws that hit our aim. I am not an attorney. I cannot give legal advice. I'll say that 100 times, but I've been in the profession long enough to know when it's time to call an attorney and when we can just take an answer to a question. So what I've tried to put together today is just it's an overwhelm of information, but I hope it helps our small businesses to kind of get up to speed as best we are, and then pick up the phone and call SBDC and get some help.
Yeah, there's a lot to consider and to think about and to know right now.
Yes, absolutely. And now, not next week, not next month, now. Exactly.
Well, maybe that's a good segue into all the points that you want to make sure people know about. And you want to jump right into that?
Sure. What I've tried to do is to just cover quickly for you, and I know it's not in enough details, but where is this action at the federal level coming from? And the first act that we saw was this Family First Coronavirus Response Act, which actually becomes effective tomorrow, the 1st. But it contains several different acts, one was it expanded the Federal Family Leave Act, and I'll go over that in a quick few more details. The big one for our employers is this Emergency Sick Leave Act, and then it offered some payroll tax credits for employers, but the more important one on that comes up with the new law that just got passed by the president. So if you want to go to the next slide, this is just the FMLA, or Family Medical Leave, used to apply to only 50 companies of 50 or more. It now expands it to coverage of all employers with less than 500. So employers must provide, the employee must have been employed for at least 30 calendar days in order to qualify under the EFMLA, Expanded Family Medical Leave. But it's a job protection, meaning they have their job when they come back, and it's both for paid and unpaid time. And you can see some of the criteria for it there below. I'm not going to go into it in detail, but read through it. If you have any more questions, we can answer them by maybe over a phone call or that. So excellent. The next slide is a little bit about the emergency family leave. The federal medical leave of absence only applied to employees who were required to stay home because of their children. It wasn't a sick situation. This now is then saying that if you had people that qualified under these 5, and then there was a 6th one, under these 5 criteria, then you're going to have to provide them with emergency sick leave pay. and it tells there a little bit about how you would have to pay it.
Okay.
Let's go on to a little bit more. The payroll tax credit, which was under this extended family medical leave, I wouldn't pay a lot of attention to this slide because the new law that we just came out with covers it a little bit in a different perspective, but it is part of the original bill that was passed. Now, as of this week, the president signed this new one called the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security, misspelled, CARES Act. And this is the new one. Believe me, the details are not a lot available right now. But some of the important details we wanted to share with you on this next slide that shows a little bit more about what this particular law now, which is federal law, covers. And it's a payroll protection program that employers should take a close look at. It's an emergency economic injury grant. That's some free money right now.
That's excellent.
And then there's a small business debt relief program that's part of this SBA loan. I am not a loan expert. Don't ask me loan questions. You can get those through some of our wonderful experts at SBDC. But that's that fourth bullet that the president signed, is that the free counseling, and there's some sources. This is free. This is coming from the federal government to help you get through this stuff.
Hey, Joanne, is this known as the CARES Act, like the short way?
Yeah.
So when you hear this out in the news, the CARES Act, this is what it's referring to.
That's right, and it's the one he signed like last Friday or something.
Okay.
So with our federal government, a lot of the law says these things will be effective in 5 days or immediately. Mm-hmm. Take it with a grain of salt. There are 1 million people have filed for unemployment in California. So, our systems are really bogged down right now, and it's not going to happen as fast, but just apply. Get your name on there. Sit on the phone for 2 hours if that's what it takes. And it is taking that kind of time.
Okay.
Okay, the next one is, this is just telling you that there are a lot of sources. That our SBDC in Santa Cruz has some incredibly talented, as Bruce will agree. We've got a staff that I've never seen with the expertise that we've got. Call on us. Call on the Women's Resource Center. Call on SCORE. Call on anybody you can to get the help that you need, but do it now. Mm-hmm. Be patient with us. We may not have all the answers. We may not be, the phones may be crazily ringing. The websites are bogged, but keep at it. Keep at it. Keep at it. It's your business. We're in survival mode.
Yeah, and for many business owners, this is their lifeblood. Like you need to save your business. You can't sit back. So. And
you need to save it almost in any way you possibly can without knowingly violating the law. Okay. So next one is this payroll tax thing. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about that, but what I wanted to focus on is this word furloughed. And let's go to the next slide really quick. In the past, furloughed had a different meaning, and we're not quite sure what the labor commissioner is going to say about it now. Mm-hmm. But here's some, on the bottom is some labor commissioner opinion letters you could look at if you want to. But furlough before meant you were going to be bringing them back. Layoff meant they were gone. You were basically not having them come back. And at that case, then that means all of the laws about final paychecks and all that comes into play. You're probably safer unless you know you're not going to be bringing that staff person back, to have the letter to them, and it has to be in writing, say they are being furloughed. Furloughed is the safest word you know, unless you know you're not bringing them back, because that does not require you to do the final pay stuff that the word layoff means. Mm-hmm. This is the best we got right now anyway, so let's take the next one quickly. and again, I'm not going to go into a lot of this. I just wanted that up there so you have an opportunity to look at it. And one of us at the SBDC can find you more details on some of these things if you have a particular question about those, or call me and I'll pull up what I pulled this slide material off of. So let's look at the next one. So the information I got regarding this CARES came off of this particular document. You could Google either those, and see what comes up for that as well to help you. So let's go to the next one. And again, can't say it enough. It's your turn. The government has done 2 things, maybe 3 things that are complicated. It's your turn. You got to make decisions, and you got to make them now, and you got to document them. And you got to communicate to your employees, to your customers. You know, your customers sitting out there not knowing whether you're going to open up again or not. Maybe split out your customer list and have pay employees to be calling the customers and just touching base with them and seeing if there's anything they need you can find for them. But if we don't communicate with our staff, make them feel appreciated, if we aren't communicating with our vendors and with our customers, when those doors open, there may not be anybody standing outside our doors. Mm-hmm. So we have to make those critical decisions and document. HR's theme song. There's training that needs to be done. Most employers have to do sexual harassment training. Do it now. Have them do it from home. Pay them for their hour to do it. You got that done. Mm-hmm. You know, what are some training videos that you can find about your industry that you've been wanting? HIPAA, if you're in the medical industry, get their HIPAA certifications up to date. Get their food handler card applications up to date. Use this time for staff development, but communicate to them and find a way to get through to your people.
Yeah.
Find a way. You have a way now to keep them on the payroll. You've got some federal support to do that. Use that time. We don't know if that's going to mean you can just pay them and not have them do anything. I would rather doubt it. Mm-hmm. So what are they going to do, and how are they going to document? What's your telecommunicating policy? You don't have one. Develop one.
There's a whole kind of program from an HR standpoint that you're describing that needs to be in place for those people that don't have anything close to that. I would advise them contact the SBDC, and they can actually literally speak with you one-on-one for their situation specifically.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And if I don't have the answer, I will see what I can find, or I'll send you to one of the other SBDC consultants. Look at the video that Bryce, you and Larry Hebert did. Some powerful financial things they should be looking at in that video.
Oh, gosh.
And now, before you have to have that data before you apply for a lot of this support. Mm-hmm. So if you don't have it, you got to do that or get a hold of Larry.
Yeah. Yeah, Larry's key. He can help you walk through the whole loan application process, plan financially, projections, all that documentation that you need.
Keith has dealt with landlords. Keith can help you with, if you're having trouble getting your landlord to be cooperative. I mean, we've got resources. Mm-hmm. Please use us, and be patient if we don't have all the answers.
Yeah. Well, excellent, Joy. This has been great getting all this knowledge just from you today. For all of you at home, stay tuned. Much more coming. We have interviews with regards to food service and cash flow and operations coming up later this week. So stay tuned. Much more to come. So you guys, thanks so much, and we'll see you soon.